I'm doing this talk because we are losing so many Catholics. The numbers are astounding. The new Pew study that came out says only 17% of Catholics think that our faith is the true faith. Oh my goodness. Only 17% of Catholics think our faith is the one true faith. All the others are much higher. The Jehovah Witnesses are like at the top, and the Mormons. Muslims are at the top, and Jehovah Witnesses and Mormons, they believe their faith is the one true faith, and yet only 17% of Catholics do. This is unacceptable. It does matter what we are. It does matter what our faith is. Our Catholic Church has made mistakes because remember, she is human and divine. In her human nature, she will fail, but in her divine nature, she will totally give you the truth. The Catholic Church, few people realize, built Western civilization. You ever been to a university? How about a hospital? Ever been helped by a charity? What about furthering your education? Thank the Catholic Church. Every day, the Catholic Church feeds, houses, clothes, educates more people than any other organization in the world. This is the Catholic faith. Today, there are almost 40,000 Christian denominations in the world today, all believing something different, or they would be the same religion. On your slide, you can see on the screen, who started your church? Now, God bless, these people are good people. There's elements of the truth in all of these religions. They really are. But you can't have more than one truth. So if we can't have more than one truth, which truth is the right one? For 1,500 years, there was only the Catholic Church. There were no other Christian religions for 1,500 years. So I have to start by asking this question. If there was only the Catholic Church for 1,500 years, we have to ask ourselves to go to the Bible. Now, one of the missions of Jesus Christ in the Bible was to start a church. It says it, his own words. Peter, you are the rock upon which I will build my church, all right? Which church? Okay, we know Jesus founded a church. He said, Peter's the rock who will be built upon it. Now, here's my question. Does anybody really believe that Jesus Christ was going to come to earth, and he did, and start a church, which he said he did, but he was going to do that, start this church, and then say, I'm going to start a church, but I'm going to get it wrong for 1,500 years. And then Martin Luther's going to come and get it right. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, we have our brokenness in the human nature of the church, but you know what? In her divine nature, it's from God. It's from God, and the gates of hell will not prevail. All right. Our church fathers, to them, there was only one church. And do you know what two topics the church fathers talked about more than any other topics for 1,500 years? You guessed it, Mary and the Eucharist. Two things uniquely Catholic. Well, Father, my Protestant faith has communion. No, it's symbolic. Nobody teaches transubstantiation, that our bread actually becomes the body and blood of Christ, except the Catholic faith. And that's John 6, verse 52. Talking about what it is uniquely Catholic. Mary and the Eucharist, the church fathers for centuries, John Chrysostom, St. Augustine, St. Thomas Aquinas, all of them for 1,500 years talked about Mary and the Eucharist more than anything else, and those are the only two things that are uniquely Catholic. The sacraments, very much important. All right, now on the next slide, you can see this is what's happening in our world today. All right, you see these massive mega churches, and they're drawing in millions, and especially ex-Catholics. And you know, I was flipping through the TV one night at a parish mission trying to find EWTN, and I came across this, probably the most well-known pastor in the preacher in the United States. He has the biggest church in the United States. And I'm listening to him speak, and he's talking about we don't put God in a box. And you knew who he was talking about. He was talking about us Catholics, right? Even though the tabernacle is God's dwelling place on earth, what do you think God made the Ark of the Covenant for, right? And the Holy of Holies. And the tabernacle is the dwelling place of God. And he says, and I'm dumbfounded as I'm watching it, and he says, if you follow Jesus, you'll get that new car. If you follow Jesus, you'll get that new house. If you follow Jesus, you'll get that promotion at work. If you follow Jesus, you'll get that beautiful new wife. You know, don't fall for this. This is sweeping millions of Catholics away. It's called the gospel of prosperity, and it's dangerous. It's utterly dangerous. That is not the gospel of Christ. The gospel of Christ is deny ourselves, pick up our cross, and follow me. Yeah, that's why Catholicism is not popular, but it's the truth. It is purely the truth. And that doesn't mean that we have to hate our crosses. No, what it means is those crosses are our way to salvation, just like Jesus. On his way to Calvary, yes, the cross exists, but it's not the last word. The last word is the resurrection, not the cross. And so we have to realize that there is no Easter Sunday without Good Friday. And these gospels of prosperity, they don't get it. All right, now, Jesus, true, is the one mediator, but Jesus' body is the church. So when we go through the church, we are going through Christ, his very body as our mediator. Saints are not mediators. That's what we are attacked a lot of times as Catholics. Saints are advocates. They're intercessors. It's different. Now, the world's oldest continuous institution running today is the Catholic Church, which has to mean it's divine. Despite all our brokenness in the church and our humanness, we still exist because the gates of hell won't prevail. Even Napoleon, who was speaking with a cardinal, said, I'm gonna destroy the Catholic Church. And that cardinal looked at Napoleon and he said, you think so? And he's like, yeah. And he says, gee, priests and bishops have been trying to do that for 1,800 years. What makes you think you can destroy it? So what's the moral to that? The moral to that is in our human nature, we are stupid. There's been bad priests and bad bishops, but it doesn't take away the teaching of the truth. And that's why we don't abandon the truth, even though we had stupid priests and bishops. I can't emphasize this enough. All right.